Hey you guys, so I wanted to talk to you guys about an individual counseling session I had with one of my students. And of course, I'm not going to be breaking any confidentiality. I'm not going to be revealing any names, but I feel like this is such an important, I just think it's really important to talk about this because I think it can be easily overlooked. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So I'm in my classroom and, I'm just doing my thing, getting things prepared or whatnot. And then I get a knock at my door. And of course I'm thinking, okay, this is a student. I wonder what's gonna be, what I need help with. So when I open the door, I see this boy, he's a third grader. He has tears coming down his face. And all he's doing is he's holding up this note, okay? And this note says, has been crying in class. When I ask why, he says the world. So obviously his teacher wrote this. So when I read it, I'm thinking like, okay, I wonder if it's that one student that's in his class that he's been having issues with. I wonder what's going on. How can I help him? So I bring him in, he's sitting down at the table, and just how I like to do my individual counseling sessions, depending on what it is, I don't just jump right into trying to get down to the bottom of things. I give that student time to kind of collect themselves and kind of get their thoughts and things together before I actually talk with them. So I've given him some time and he's just, getting himself together. And literally in my mind, just thinking like, oh my gosh, I wonder what's happened. What do I need to put in place for him? He is under distress. So I end up, asking him, I said, so what's going on? What do you mean by the world? And he repeats back to me, it's the world. And so I asked him, I said, well, what about the world? You guys, I had to write down just the different points that he mentioned. And I'm going to write it down. I'm going to read it to you guys. He says, kids are being bombed. I don't know if I'm able to say this on here or not, so I want to be spelling out some of this stuff. He says kids are being bombed in Gaza. He says there's school fires. He says being homeless is illegal. He says boats are being sent to Gaza to help them, but they're being intercepted by people bombing them. And it says this world is all bad stuff. And let me tell you guys, when he's telling me all these things, you can literally see the streams of tears running down his face like all over again. Like he's really being moved by, of course, what's happening in this world. But get this, y'all. He ends with saying, not most kids know, but I know. And what he's referring to is not most kids know about what's going on in this world, but he knows what's going on in this world. And that's literally having him distressed. So he's sitting in class and he's doing all this crying, and it's literally the world is on his shoulders. Like he's thinking about everything that's happening in this world. And one of the things that he told me is that there's this boat, and I might be saying this wrong, but flotilla. And he told me to look it up. He was like, look it up. There's this boat flotilla, and he's telling me all about this in Gaza and just all these different things. And it's just amazing how just this 8-year-old boy is in class and he's not worried about his friend or somebody being mean to him. He's not worried about if they're going to be going out recess or not that day. He's not worrying about just school stuff or just what's going on at home. He's literally worried about the state our world is in, the state that his world is in, and it just really got me thinking, like, it can be so easily overlooked where, of course, we as school counselors or teachers or parents, we're there for the kids to provide them the social emotional help that they need to navigate their world with their peers or what they might be going through academically or whatnot. But not many times do we stop and we think about, okay, how is hearing what's on the news affecting them? How is the presidency affecting them? And what do they think about that? And of course, especially working in the school system, you don't really want to get into politics and things like of that sort, especially when you're in an elementary school. But let me tell you, you don't have to get into it. The students will talk about it and they will also ask for your opinion. And am I saying to get wrapped up in that conversation with them and have those talks? Not at all. But knowing how to navigate things like this when it pops up is very much important. So how did I navigate this with that student? I began to talk to him about, you cannot control certain things. There's certain things in this world that you cannot control. But what we can control is ourselves and how we react to situations and situations like that, and how we can make the world a better place within where we are, right? Our environment. So I began to talk about in the classroom, how can we make the classroom a better place? And that's being kind to each other and, kind of resolving the different things that happen within the classroom. And then hopefully that impacts it on a wider scale, a broader scale. And so just walking through that with him. And I also began to ask him, I said, when you do have thoughts like this, how do you deal with these thoughts? Do you have anybody that you talk to? And so I even asked him, I said, do you talk to your mom about this? And he said no, but he does feel comfortable to share with her. I said, so maybe that's something that you can do is when you're at home, talk to your mom, somebody that you trust. And of course, here at school, you can talk to me. So I want to just share with you guys that it just was really moving to just hear that, he is literally worried about this world. And I mean, you can truly feel he feels really deep about that. And so just being able to witness that taught me a lot as a school counselor, because even though we do know that these things are going on, but not once have I really thought about how that is impacting my student, my students here at school. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, just a transparent moment. And I want to know, do you have students that's coming to you with issues like this, and how are you navigating that?